everyone. I'm very excited to welcome my first guest to the first episode of Conversations with Musicians, and I'm here with Ben Rosett. Hey, Ben.
Hey, what's up? I'm Ben Rosett. Good to be here. Nice talking to you.
You too, man. Ben, yeah. Do you want to talk about your bands briefly a little bit, your projects?
Um, yeah, I mean, I play drums in Strawberry Girls. That's my main band right now. And then my other focus is just my solo music, which is just under my name, Ben Rosett. And that's pretty much like the main things I have going on right now. I have uh like one other project, like side project that I'm working on called Tajane. It's kind of just a studio project. But we have a second EP in the works, and we're going to be recording vocals um, in February. Actually, yeah, in February. Um, so yeah, I'm excited for that. It's just going to be like I think 4 or 5 songs. Um, Other than that, yeah, Strawberry Girls is my main focus. We have a new album that I'm working on. Hopefully, going to drop um, fairly soon, sometime this year. I don't know exactly when. And then I'm also working on another album, like a solo album. I'm not sure how many songs that's gonna be. I don't know. I might do like a full length album and then also like an EP or something. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna do this year. But yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking back today. I saw yeah, your last album, right, was the Booster Pack
hmm
about a year and a half, 2 years back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've just been like doing singles and stuff, but like every so often I'm like, cause I like singles because they get a little more attention on Spotify and stuff, and people just focus on that one song, and it's cool to have like your work of art actually be appreciated rather than like dropping a whole album and then some of the songs don't really get any attention. So I like singles, but after dropping singles for a while, I'm just like, man, it would be cool to like make a whole album. And I'll probably include a lot of like the singles that I have dropped that aren't on the album yet, on the new album, and then in addition, I'll have like brand new songs on it too. So yeah.
yeah. Do you guys think, like, I know with Strawberry Girls, you guys have put out a couple this year. Are those going to be on the new album too? Like, I was listening to Butterfly Knife today. I love it. The music
Thank you.
video is awesome too with Dune.
Yeah, yeah, I watched that movie recently and I really loved it. And then we all live in different cities, so and we're not together right now. So we couldn't really film a music video. So it's like I just had free time one day and I was like, I'm just gonna cut up the Dune movie and just like make a music video out of it. Just as like a cool visualizer. And yeah, people seem to like it. I don't know, we got one comment the other day though. Some guy was like, Butterfly Knife is all right, but I'm stoked for new album. Like he was just like, it's okay. But I don't
Like,
know. I think it's a pretty cool song.
yeah, I was a big fan. It like stood out to me.
That's cool. Yeah, it's actually an old song. Like we've had that song maybe like 5 years or something like that. We like wrote it in a jam session a long time ago, and then we never recorded it. And it was just always a cool idea, like on the back burner. And then finally, we recorded it last year, and and then it came out finally recently. So it's cool. Sometimes it's weird that like we're dropping a new song, but to us it's like old. It's weird.
Yeah, I did see like maybe it was on Instagram or Facebook. Someone commented that it reminded them of a combination of like Tasmanian Glow and American Graffiti.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I saw that comment. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think we're always trying to blend everything we like and everything we've done. Like every new song kind of gets like uh, more influence put into it and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty accurate, I'd say.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy though. Like have something done for like almost 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking before though, like what got you inspired and everything to start like making Spirit Vision records? You obviously have lots of bands on there as awesome
Yeah.
artists. I know I'm
So
a big fan of like Tang and
yeah.
Chloa and stuff.
But
And
Poe is actually not on the label anymore. Um, some bands are just on it briefly, and then I don't really do. It's I just like helping out bands and stuff when I can, and it's not like a super traditional like old-fashioned label or anything like that. It's more just like a brand, and if I can help a band out with like promotion and stuff and recording, that's what I love to do. So yeah, actually right now, like I only have like the active bands that I have are like Raikou, or he's just a solo artist. I don't know if you checked out any of his stuff, but he's pretty
yeah, I've
sick. He
seen
mixes like
his and your guys'
yeah, he
collabs
mixes like
together.
trap trap beats with like metal guitar and stuff. It's pretty cool. So Raikou is like one of my main artists right now that I'm pushing. And then obviously like I release all my solo stuff through my own label. Um and then I have Tang. Uh they're two of the guys like move it was like a year or two ago, moved to Nashville and stuff. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with them, but they're still active and playing shows and stuff. I'm not sure like if they're recording new music or not. But yeah, I still promote them. And then I don't know, with Strawberry Girls it's kind of weird because Strawberry Girls isn't on a label anymore. We're independent. But I also do a lot of stuff for like the band, like shipping out merch and all that stuff. So it's like it's kind of on like Strawberry Girls is kind of on my label. I feel like, but at the same time, we're not representing ourselves that way. We're just like not on any label. So it's kind of confusing, but anyway, Spirit Vision started back in like 2011. I mean, I've been recording music for over half my life in my parents' garage. and and then eventually like I was doing that since I was like 13, and I would record
Oh
like
wow.
local people and stuff. And then eventually in 2011, late 2011, um my dad had like my dad's a doctor, and so one of his patients like worked at this community center that had like a basement like studio that was like unoccupied currently. And then so that's how I kind of got in the studio space. I started Spirit Vision Studios, um, and it was official in like early like 2012. And then I was just like kind of a public studio recording all the local bands, every kind of genres and everything. Um, and my bass player from Strawberry Girls, Ian Jennings, he was my business partner. Um, and we did that studio for like 7 years. And it was cool. I got a lot of like experience just like recording bands and producing, and I learned a lot. And then I eventually moved up to Oregon, and now I'm just in my garage, in my house, and I just have all my equipment set up here, and it's pretty efficient because I can just come out in my garage and do anything I need to do, like record drums, record guitar, um, mix. Um, so yeah,
Did
I
you
miss
guys have
having.
like a separate studio then before? And now everything's in your garage?
So yeah, like we had an actual like studio space in California for like 7 years, and then eventually that whole community building had like a management team, and then eventually they got new management, and then we didn't like, get like kicked out, but it was just time to like get out of there. Like my wife wanted to move up to Oregon to be near her family, and then the new management at that building was kind of weird and stuff. So it was just like kind of the perfect time to get out. Um, so and I actually like just having all my stuff in my garage because before I lived like 30 minutes away. Well, for a time I lived like 30 minutes away from my studio, so I would have to commute to my studio every time. So it's like if I was going to the studio, I was planning on staying there like all day. And then eventually I moved closer to the studio, but I don't know. It was also weird because it was like a public building, so anyone could like go in the studio. So I didn't feel like totally safe with all my gear in there and stuff. And
Yeah, everyone. I don't know about you. I'm like, I don't like people touching my music equipment.
yeah,
And yeah, that probably makes you like, I don't know about you. I like having everything in my house too, because then
yeah,
if you get an idea or something, you can actually like walk downstairs and record it.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So it works out now just for my life, like how it is now. But yeah, I do. I feel what's the word like because I still want to like record some bands and like I have a new band that's going to be joining my label um, pretty soon, but we haven't announced anything yet. And they're going to come record with me, but I feel like sometimes a little embarrassed or whatever of like just having a band in my garage because like it's not a real like soundproof studio or anything. But I mean, I can make stuff sound really good. I recorded all the Strawberry Girls stuff. Like, I mean, Tasmanian Glow is like recorded in this room. So
Yeah, it
I
sounds
can make
the
stuff
album sounds
sound
awesome
good.
too.
It's just like sometimes I feel like embarrassed, like, oh, come like record in my garage. Like, I don't know. Because I mean, a band could go to some like state of the art studio, you know? So I don't know.
Well, I like everything you put out. Like I've been listening to you guys from like day one, Strawberry Girls, like back to Eternity Forever and everything too. Everything sounds
Yeah.
amazing. And like I'm the type of guy who actually reads like who's producing and like who's tracking everything too. And I see your name on everything for producing.
So did you actually start listening to us like back in like 2011?
Yeah, because
Like
I've
the
been
first
like a
EP?
huge fan. Yeah, I've been like a fan of like Dance Gavin Dance since like 2007. And then like I was a huge fan of their self-titled
Yeah.
and Happiness. So I just gradually became a big fan of Zach, and
Yeah.
then just been following everything he's been doing, and now following
That's cool.
everything you're doing. And
Have you messaged Zach? I'm sure he'd love to be a part of an episode.
I haven't yet, but yeah, if he's
He's always
interested, that'd
he's
be
always
awesome.
yeah, he's always down to do like podcasts and stuff, especially if you message him and tell him I already did one, he'll probably be even more willing to do it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like another question I was gonna ask is like what would you say would be your favorite song that you've ever put out? Like or ever been a part of? Not talking even like B-sides, not even like singles
Like
or
any
anything.
song from any project.
Yeah.
Um it's a hard question. I mean, I'm really proud of a lot of the Strawberry Girls stuff that we've put out. We've come a long way just from the early days of, some of our first recordings that I hate the sound of now. um but yeah, I mean like Tasmanian Glow, I'm super proud of. I love just how that album turned out. The songs. Um yeah, I'm really happy about that whole album. One of my favorite songs, or some of my favorite songs off that album are like Love Trip, Faith Healer, Cradle Mountain. I mean, a lot of them are sick, but yeah, probably say or like Mini Ripper and Love Trip are probably like two of my top songs off that album. So
Mini Ripper just makes you want to dance.
yeah, it's a fun song to play, and it's just super catchy, and people like groove to it and stuff. So yeah.
I was showing my fiance too your Good Grief like
Mm,
solo track you made last year or the
that's
year
funny, dude.
before.
Like that song barely got like any streams. Like no one cares about that song. But that's funny that you mentioned it because like no one's ever mentioned that song to me. I mean, I had fun making it. I was just trying to make like a quick like Christmas song, but yeah, that one kind of flew under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a big Charlie Brown fan and stuff. So I was like, man, this is awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, me too. I mean, some of the songs like are just really cool. I get inspired by like little melodies from songs like that and stuff. So yeah, that was a fun one to make. Like Math Rock Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, it sounded awesome. I showed my brother too. He's a big fan of you guys, and
That's cool.
yeah, he loved it too. Yeah, and then yeah, the question we were talking about before. I don't know if you want to talk about it again about
Which one?
how you sort of use the fairy Zelda sound effects,
Oh, the
your
Navi
like
sample. Yeah.
signature, yeah, standing out.
Yeah, I guess I thought we were recording when I was talking about that before, but I didn't realize we didn't start yet. Yeah, the Navi sample. Zach sent me that sample a long time ago, and I really liked it. And I was just like, hey, I want to like make this my signature. I don't put it in every single song, but a lot of songs I produce, I try to throw it in somewhere. Sometimes it's like really quiet, and you have to like really listen for it, and then sometimes it's like pretty loud. Um, but yeah, like I'm not sure if it's Navi or not, and Zach doesn't even know exactly what it is or where it came from, but it kind of sounds like Navi. Um, and I do use some actual Navi samples too.
Yeah, I mean, I've only played like Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, and like Wind Waker, so I don't know all the games and sound effects to use
Yeah.
for Navi. But I'm like, that sounds like Navi to me.
All right.
I guess another question I was curious to ask is, like, even from recording side things or drums, like, what sort of equipment do you typically use? Or are you a big fan of like anything in particular?
For drums, I just have my drum set that I've had like half my life. Like my parents bought me a drum set for Christmas. I was probably like 14 or 13, and I still have this is the floor tom from that set, and then the kick drum from that set. I sold off the other pieces, and I have like two Gretsch snares that I purchased over the past few years. And I love like I've been getting into minor cymbals a lot, just like the uh, Byzance like dual dark cymbals, and then like the 15-inch hi-hats, and then I use the Sabian Omni cymbal, the 22-inch AAX cymbal. That's like I love that cymbal, and I've cracked a lot of them, and I always just keep buying the same one over and over. Um, so yeah, I'd say
Is
like, wait, sorry, what?
oh, is that a crash? Like I
Yeah,
use
it's like a
Sabian too. I
yeah,
recognize the
it's like a crash.
AAXs.
It's a 22-inch like crash ride. Um, so it's pretty versatile. Like you can, there's my kid. Yeah, you can like get crash, you can get ride, you can get bell. Um, so yeah, actually, in the earlier days of Strawberry Girls, like I only like I had a more minimal setup. I just had like my crash ride, the Omni, and then hi hats. I didn't even have like any crashes or anything. And then I started adding like broken cymbals as like a stack, and just like doing like a percussive like staccato cymbal sound.
I
Um,
think of that as like one of your signature things too, the stack.
the stack, yeah. I just love that how percussive it is, and it's kind of like a China, but it doesn't like sustain as long. Um, and I don't use rack toms or anything, so it's almost like in place of a rack tom. But
Oh, you don't use like tom toms, rack
no,
toms at all, just
just a
floor
floor
tom.
tom. Yeah, kick, floor tom, and snare. Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense. Thinking of you guys' songs,
I have
I
like
have one. My kit's like actually at a studio right now too. That's just my electric back there.
yeah. First song, I do have a rack tom that's like behind my couch over there, and sometimes I'll use it for like a certain if a certain song needs like an extra tom or something, I'll bust that out. But usually I just prefer to play without rack toms. I don't know why. It's just simpler, less hassle for me. So
Yeah, I'm a fan of less toms. Some
yeah,
people like to have like two minimum.
yeah. The first kit that I got, it came with like the two racks and then two floor toms, so it was actually like four toms. Um, and then yeah, for a while I did play with just like the rack tom and the floor tom, and then eventually I just got rid of the rack tom.
Are you a big fan of your you said you have one or two Gret snares too?
I have two Gretsch snares. Yeah, I the first one I got was a 14-inch. It's called like the Gretsch full range maple snare. It's a hybrid hoop, so it has like wood hoops and then it has like a metal lining around it. And it's just super fat, has a lot of crack, it's loud. Um, I've always gotten compliments on it, just the look of it and the sound of it. And then eventually I found this. I love like breakbeat drums and stuff, just like fast like beats and stuff. So I wanted to get like a higher pitched snare that was more uh, in that genre. And so I found like this 12-inch Gretsch. It's a Brooklyn steel. I was in Nashville on tour and I went to a drum shop and I found it. And so, but I've actually, for a while, I was using both. Like I had both snares. So for certain parts, I would use like the 12-inch and then switch to the 14-inch. And then on the past couple of tours that we've done, I've only brought out the 12-inch, and it's like higher pitch, but it still like cracks and is like pretty loud and cuts through. So, and I also have more like room for my legs and stuff. My 14-inch snare, oh, it's in a case right now, but the hoops are like really big, so it's like it's even bigger than 14 inches. Like it's just like I don't know, it's huge.
Yeah,
Like
mine's a
most like mic
14
clip.
too.
Yeah, but like the hoops are so fat that like at shows when the sound guy's trying to like clip the microphone on the snare, like it doesn't even fit. So he has to like switch it to like a stand. Just
I was gonna ask if you have any like tips or like anything for musicians or even like drummers specifically. I know like I'm constantly learning things.
just tips in general.
Yeah, like anything really. Like just the other day I got a tip about tuning and I was like, never even thought to do that. I've been playing for
Yeah.
17 years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for drums, like I've kind of just picked up stuff from experience and learning like what tones I like and what I don't like. So I mean, for tuning, like for snare, I crank the bottom head like pretty tight, like almost as tight as you can go before the bottom head's like gonna snap or like break. So pretty tight, like crank it, and then um the top head, like it just depends on what you're going for. Like if you need a super like fat low tone, I mean obviously you're not gonna crank the top head. But for me, a lot of time I do kind of crank the top head quite a bit. Still lower than the reso head, but and then I put two moon gels on the top, so it's like pretty dry, pretty dead sounding.
Okay.
So I hate like the snare ring and stuff, like that pingy sound. Like I always want to get rid of that. So I put two moon gels. Um, I like the head to be tightened enough to where it still has some body, but it's also like has a lot of crack and sticks out in the mix. Um, and then like for floor tom, I pretty much tune it as low as you can go, like finger tight. I put some dampeners like on the bottom. So it's pretty dead, but it still has like a little growl and some
On the
sustain.
bottom you do that of your
Yeah, I
toms?
have like on the bottom, I have like some felts with tape over it. So it just kind of dampens the bottom head. So like it cuts the sustain a little bit. It doesn't ring out forever. So I kind of like that deader sound. And I have this like Evans hydraulic head on here. And these heads are really good for like you can just finger tighten it and It just sounds like decent. Like it's not super. It doesn't take a lot of work to like get it to sound good. So that's why I like that head. And for kick, kind of same thing. I just like it as deep and low as you can do it. Um, and I have like a, what do you call it? Like a sub kick, like the thing that goes in the hole of the kick drum and it like makes it more subby or whatever.
Is it like the foam that wraps around? Or you
No,
talking
well, I
about
do
like the
have
pillow, half
I
pillow things?
I do have that too. Also, oh yeah, also in the kick drum, I have a lot of like blankets and stuff, so it's more like thuddy and dry, and it's not just like hollow and ringy sounding. I like just that low thud that like um doesn't ring out a bunch. Like I just want like a fat low punch. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, that's pretty much
That's what I
it.
prefer to.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I try to keep it simple. That's one reason I don't have a bunch of toms and stuff because like tuning toms is just a hassle for me, and it's like they have to be tuned to like pitches, and it's just like I'd rather not deal with that, and I don't even really need them to like play the kind of stuff I want to play. So yeah, it just works for me to have a simpler kit. But I've been adding more cymbals and stuff. I have like two crashes now, the stack, my crash ride, my hi-hats, and then I also have like my sample pad too. So it's like a full spread just without toms, rack
Do you
toms.
still use like a China and like a
I don't
splash or anything too?
no, I don't have a
Oh,
China or
really?
a splash. The stack is kind of actually like on my stack like is like a China. Well, under on the very bottom, I have like an old like hi-hat symbol and then a China and then like a cracked like crash cymbal and then like a tiny splash on top. So like depending on how I hit the stack, like I can kind of just like hit that little splash in there or like hit the whole thing and get like tons of sounds from it. I don't know. It's like you can kind of mess with it and
Combination.
get different. You can get different sounds from it and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, I know like the Genesis EP you guys made a
yeah,
couple of years ago.
yeah,
That's why I was wondering if you used like a China. It's like such a greasy EP, but
yeah.
I
That
love
was just
it.
the stack, but also like with the wing nut on top, like if I tighten it really tight for the stack, like it's super staccato and doesn't really ring out. Or if I loosen it a bunch, then it sounds more like a China and it just like has more sustain and stuff. So I can kind of get different tones that way too by like tightening or loosening the wing nut. So yeah, probably I think on the Genesis EP I just like loosened it like all the way, so it was more like a China sound. So yeah,
It's good advice.
yeah,
Do you typically stack up like I'm just looking at like my splash here. I usually have like just like one piece of foam on top. Is that what you're
yeah,
talking about? Like you'll stack it up and tighten it more?
yeah, yeah. And then for stacks and stuff, like there was one day, I probably did this a year or two ago, where I kind of took an hour and I just like experimented with different positionings of the cymbals and stuff. And like I was trying to just find like a sound, like something that sounded good to me. And so I messed around with like, this cymbal on top or on bottom or like four or five or three cymbals or just two. Like you can mess around with so many different combinations and find something that you like. That's what's kind of fun about stacks is just like experimenting and see what sounds good. So yeah,
Never ending.
yeah,
I was gonna ask you too, like from a recording side of things, like which programs do you use? Like Logic
I'm
or
a
Pro
pro
Tools or
yeah, I'm a Pro Tools guy. Sorry, I'm a Pro Tools guy. Um, I started actually on Cubase and
okay.
actually before that I used Fruity Loops because it was like free I think, or maybe I probably like pirated it or something, but I have Fruity Loops for a while. I've actually made a lot of stuff on Fruity Loops, and then I switched to Cubase because that I was taking like some music production class in high school, and they used Cubase, so I kind of got into that program, and then eventually I did like an internship at a studio down in Los Angeles, like back in, was it 2000, 2009? And that's when I got started in Pro Tools. And ever since then, I only use Pro Tools. So yeah.
Wicked. I'm still on GarageBand.
That's cool. I mean,
Should get off of
Zach,
it though.
honestly, like Zach pretty much only uses GarageBand for all his stuff. Like he makes a lot of like solo music and he makes the demos like for Strawberry Girls and stuff. Like everything he does is in GarageBand. So yeah, it's doable. I don't really understand GarageBand just because I haven't used it that much. I've used it like twice. Um, so I prefer Pro Tools over anything just because I know it.
Yeah, you get used to it a lot more.
Yeah.
From like seeing the interfaces too of like Pro Tools and Logic, they're a lot more similar. And
Just
GarageBand's
understanding
like,
like how it operates and stuff. Like sometimes I'll be thinking about how to do something and then I'll have like a dream or something. I'll like have a dream about how to like route something or to like, because it's like Photoshop. I mean, there's like multiple ways to do one thing. So like you can figure out interesting ways to use um certain thing. I don't know how to explain it, but like yeah, it's a really versatile program. Like you can be like creative with it.
you just mentioned Photoshop too. I was thinking of that. Like when it comes to like designing your like singles and artwork and everything, do you do that like process too, or
Yeah, so for
usually?
Strawberry Girls, like I have designed some of the cover artwork for some of the songs. Zach also is really good with Photoshop, so he does a lot of the artwork too. And then sometimes we'll buy a piece from someone. And for my solo stuff, like I have bought pieces of art from artists on Instagram and stuff, and then I use those for my singles. Sometimes I'll make my own piece. It just depends on if I'm feeling like creative and if I'm able to do it in Photoshop, or if I have the money to like buy a really cool piece, then I'll use that. So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff I've done is just out of like necessity and like not having enough money to like just pay for someone else to do it. So I just try to figure out how to do it myself, you know, like Photoshop something and just try to make something look cool. So yeah, it's interesting being a musician because you learn all these different skills. Like I've had to learn like Photoshop and video editing and how to like market on social media and stuff. And you just kind of you learn all these different things to help you be a musician and just like advertise yourself. Like I don't have like a team of people like working to help me or anything. Like I do everything myself basically. So
Yeah, it's that like I find that super interesting too, and like I do that for work. Like I've learned Photoshop on my own, obviously doing marketing, and
yeah.
yeah, I can relate from the aspect of video editing and stuff, trying to learn, figure it
Yeah,
out,
like we've done
not
all our
knowing
own
anything
music
what you're doing.
videos. Yeah, we've done all our own music videos. Like I filmed most of them and edited them and yeah, you just I mean it's fun to like do projects like that and get better and you learn from your mistakes and stuff. So and I've always loved like doing video stuff. Like when I was a kid, I used to like I had a little camcorder and I used to like film like skating and biking and stuff and just make little videos. And then I started recording when I was 13 and making like stupid songs and stuff. Like I would just have my friends come over after school and like we would just record like stupid like funny songs just for fun. And yeah, but you kind of like growing up, you don't realize like how you're like I was like kind of training myself for my future career, you know, like how to um, produce music and do Photoshop stuff and make videos and everything's kind of helped me like get to where I am today. You know? It's all that experience. So.
And like when you were growing up, did you want to like focus on producing, or like
And I
drumming or both? And like, how did you get into guitar too? Like,
Yeah, it was
have you
kind of
just learned?
like guitar was the first thing I'd say that sparked everything. I mean, before that, like I grew up in a musical family. I was always around music. I was going to church and, you know, I was on the worship team like growing up. Like I would play drums for the worship band and stuff. And so that taught me a lot. I didn't have my own drum set or anything, but there was one at the church and I just kind of, I had rhythm, so I kind of could play just like simple stuff. Um, so that helped me grow a lot. And then when I was 10, um, I was at a summer camp and this guy showed me a few chords on guitar. And that was like the first time I like my dad had guitars and stuff, but I never like cared about like the guitar. Like, I don't know. I wasn't fascinated by it or anything. And then at the summer camp, this guy like showed me a few chords and that just sparked, I don't know what it was, like that just sparked something and I just like wanted to play guitar all the time and make up my own chords and songs and riffs and stuff. And that was like when I was like 10, 11. And then I knew like from that point I was like my goals were like start a band, get on a label, or like play shows, get on a label, record music. Um, and that's like what I was passionate about, what I want to do. I mean, I was also like really into skating at the same time too, but I knew music, like I felt music could be more of like an actual career because I had wanted to, like when I was a kid, I was like, I want to be a pro skater, but
Yeah, I think
like
we all had that
how are
dream.
you gonna make money doing that? And then you get older and start breaking bones and stuff. And it's like, see, I knew music was gonna be something that I could actually turn into like a job, a career. And when I was 13, I had a band in like middle school, early high school, and I think I was actually 13. I was at my friend's house. We were jamming and stuff, or we had a band and we were like um, writing songs and stuff. And my friend's friend came over with like this little Fostex 8-track digital recorder, and that was the first time I had seen anything like that. And I was like, "What is this thing? That's super cool! Like it looks cool, and you can record like separate tracks and like mix it all together and stuff." And I was just like, that like sparked another thing in me. That's like when I knew like I wanted to start recording and stuff. I was like, "Oh, I didn't know." Like I don't know, it just became like real to me. I was like, "Oh, you can like record different tracks and blend it all together." And yeah, and then I got one of those, like that same recorder, maybe like soon after that. Like I told my dad, I'm like, I need to get this like recorder thing, and he got me one, and I actually still have it to this day. It's sitting in a box somewhere, but it's just nostalgic to me because that's like what started everything. And yeah, ever since then, like I started recording. I had a crappy electric guitar, a crappy amp. I don't even. I had like one like multi effects pedal, and I recorded just like every day. I would just like record like a song, and yeah, that's pretty much how I got started.
As you're into it, like pretty young age, then
Yeah,
is was the worship too? Is that like a community like band or
yeah. It
church
was
group
just
or
the
something?
band at my church. Like I just grew up in church. My parents were like heavily involved with a smaller church, so you know I had to be there like every Sunday and help set up everything, and then eventually I started playing drums for the church, and so that helped me grow a lot. Just like it got me into a band setting and just like playing drums with people, and yeah, I mean it's that I'd say it's definitely part of my experience that like taught me some stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I don't want to keep you too much longer. I was just wanted to kind of wrap up and
sure, yeah.
then we can.
Was there any more questions, or did we hit all of them?
Oh, I was just gonna ask if you wanted to like talk about any upcoming like projects or tour dates or anything, and then I can turn record off and we can chit chat or anything after.
Sure, yeah. Let's see. So yeah, we announced a West Coast tour coming up. It's in like I think I leave my house in like 20 days, and we're doing West Coast, like all of California. We're doing Phoenix, Vegas. We're doing like Portland and Seattle. We're playing in my hometown, Bend, Oregon. So it should be fun. It's just like 13 shows with standards, Mundo, and Floral and Dwellings. Floral and Dwellings are only on certain dates, but yeah, it should be a fun little tour. So it'll just be fun to get out and play some music. And we're gonna be playing like some of the newer stuff, like Butterfly Knife, that we haven't played live before. So I'm excited for that. And then, like I said earlier, I'm gonna be working on the new Tajane EP pretty soon. So that's gonna come out this year. New Strawberry Girls album this year, new solo album for me this year. And I also kind of want to do another EP that's kind of like the Genesis EP, just like heavy stuff. I just grew up like on listening to heavy music and like grindcore and stuff, and so it's just fun for me to do stuff like that, even though it doesn't really get like that many streams or that much attention because it's a smaller market. Not as many people are like into that kind of abrasive music. But I've been thinking about doing like a 4-song EP of just like crazy, like heavy stuff. So that might happen this year. Um, and then who knows what'll happen? I don't know. I'll probably have some other stuff coming out too. Oh, I'll probably definitely have some other like collaborations this year too. So
Wicked.
yeah, it's pretty much everything.
Yeah, I'll be sure to like put it in the description and all that stuff too.
Cool.
Alrighty, I'll just turn off the recording button now. But
Cool.
yeah, thanks for coming out, Ben.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
It's awesome to meet you.
Yeah, you too.